laughing at me, finding funny my tragedy.
S is for submissions. Yes, the famous publishers and literary agents slush piles. In all fairness, they are inundated, with fiction in particular. There are 50 authors for every book. We get about a dozen submissions a week, and with non-fiction, it is best for authors to deal directly with the publisher. We take each one seriously and always reply because, after all, submissions are the source of half our books. Literary agents are used by the multinationals as kind of filters, and this is a dilemma for first-timers, not only to find a literary agent, but to find a good one. Because in my experience, most of them are useless, either tiny, dilettante lifestyle companies or large multinationals gobbling each other up, leaving the authors caught in the crossfire. The Writers and Artists Yearbook is still the best source of finding agents, but it's often out of date. It's compiled in the spring for the following year, so it's always worth checking on the publisher's website to get the most accurate and up-to-date information.
T is for trade, the book trade. Trickling tremulously through treacle. It's hard going through an inherited supply chain that reeks of inefficiency. The biggest single reason why publishing is so unprofitable. It needn't be like this, but somehow it just is the subtitle of this talk and forthcoming book, and it really sums up my frustration with the mad ways of the book trade. If you sat down to devise the most wasteful supply chain imaginable, you would invent the book trade. When a newcomer asks why, they're told, oh, it's always been done like this. Part of the madness is returns, as in sale or return. So all books sold to the trade are on sale or return, so you never know how many you've really sold, and then have the expense of receiving them back, often shop-soiled, when they haven't sold. This is the supply route, so you, the reader, will buy the book from the bookshop, who would have bought it from a wholesaler, who would have had it delivered from a distributor, who in turn will have had it delivered from the publisher. And if you return the book or the book doesn't sell, it goes all the way back again. And you can see that each one of these people are taking their cut of what little profit there is. You would think that Amazon, the ultimate disruptor and not hidebound by tradition, would cut out all the middlemen and deal directly with the publisher. But no, even they do it the old-fashioned way. Which is why all publishers sell as much as possible directly through their websites. We've even got our own Amazon seller to do just this. U stands for Unicorn, my own publishing company, and please forgive the plug and this bit of blatant puffery. So we have 3 imprints, all bound by history. Unicorn for the visual arts and cultural history, Uniform for military history, and Universe for historical fiction. We've often thought of adding Uniporn to try to finally make some money, but haven't quite managed that yet. Then we have our own sales and distribution company that not only sells our own books, but those of the Imperial War Museum, Royal Armouries, London Transport Museum and others. So that's us. And please feel free to contact me if you'd need to find out any more information.
On to the letter V now, and I'm often asked about vanity and self-publishing, so I put them together here and added on what people call hybrid publishing. Vanity publishing as it was is kind of dying really and being replaced by self-publishing, which can do the same and better for less money. Hybrid publishing is a kind of halfway house for people who don't want the hassle of the editing and the design or the hustle of the marketing sides of publishing. And self-publishing is just that, a total do-it-yourself package whereby the author does everything. And of course, there are endless mixes and matches between self-publishing and hybrid publishing.
Some self-publishing considerations. Self-publishing means you can control everything. So the editing, the design, the price, the profits, actually the losses. But a lot of authors don't want anything to do with the design or commercial side of publishing and go down the hybrid route. Then there is the design dilemma, by which I mean that book design is a specialist skill. So the question is to invest in proper book design or not, as there's no guarantee success even if you do. But you know that without a good design, you will have no chance whatsoever. The big snag of self-publishing is the marketing, and unless you know how to do it yourself, your garage will soon be as full of unsold self-published books as all the others that have gone before. But it is booming. People still love books, writing as well as reading them, with crowdfunding now an important new element in financing it all. W has to be Waterstones, now rebranded without the apostrophe. And where would we be without them? Where indeed? Now the only nationwide chain, recently bought by US venture capitalists, and of course everyone feared the worst, as a nationwide high street retail chain has great asset stripping potential. But actually the opposite's happened. There are 280 local bookshops, and they are now expanding into new towns, crucially choosing ones without bookshops and upgrading some of the older ones. They recently bought foils to add to Hatchard's. They're expanding online, and they're the leading light in the children's charity book trust. So what's not to like? All the buying is done centrally in Waterstones Piccadilly, but local managers are encouraged to have local events, signings, readings, etc. So yes, thumbs up for Waterstones. X is next, and that stands for extra large books, slightly new phenomenon. Supersize publishing. So it's really the coffee table book, reinvented as a piece of furniture, a showpiece, typically starting from about £100. This example is upping the game a bit to £1,000, the book packaged as a case of fine wine, a luxury gift for those who can't think of anything else to buy. Here is the ultimate Ferrari collection book at $30,000 US. But as you can see, it's really a book of sculpture, and you get the feeling this might be the owner's only book, and he'd be none too pleased if you opened it. This is a new boom market, the idea of books not as something to be read or looked at, but used primarily as home decoration, luxury goods. And they're sold as objects of art, using special uplit display shelves against a wall rather than hanging a painting. They're sold as signed, numbered, limited edition investments, possibly rather dubious ones. Assouline and Taschen are the major players. In fact, they kind of invented or popularized the whole phenomenon. And they both have their own specialist luxury goods bookshops. Assouline in particular has stores in 5-star hotels. Moving on now to Y, it stands for young adults. And still they read. And great thing is, thank you Harry Potter. Young adult has, like all booming markets, its coming of age niches, based around male, female, black, white, brown, yellow, self-help, fantasy, science fiction, etc. And interestingly, compared to adult publishing, the marketing is driven by word of mouth, or more accurately, word of chat rooms and blogs and vlogs. By adult standards, we can generalize and say young adult books have a high emotional content, which is not surprising. considering the teenage stirrings. There's a very high level of sales in the inexpensive e-book sector, and this is not surprising given the teenagers' premonition to download when they can. And it's not just reading. With the growth of fan fiction, young adults are writing more than ever before as well. So, in spite of worst fears, it's boom boom, and thank you to young adults for keep reading.
And lastly, the letter Z. Z, 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 Z. And I hope I haven't put you to sleep, and that you've enjoyed this short romp through the wonderful world of publishing. Goodbye.